After 16 races, a all-star race and a couple of off weeks in between, the JBL Cup Series drivers are finally in action to kick off the Season 5 chase at the Brickyard, one of the best tracks in the country, heck, maybe even the world. It is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, my home racetrack, and the host of the Chase Open for a couple of years now. And these 12 drivers will hunt for a championship, 10 weeks, 10 different racetracks, and one champion. Will it be Joe Wachowski, the dominant driver all year long, or will someone steal it in these next 10 races? It is the Discord 400 at the Brickyard, and it is the Discord 400 to kick off the Season 5 chase for the JBL Cup Series. What's up, everyone? It's the boy that's Race 97, aka Nick, the safety unit, and well, it's that time of the year. Finally, 16 races down, a ton of great races this season for the JBL Cup Series. Probably one of my favorite seasons so far, despite Joe Wachowski being as stellar as he has been. The racing has been fantastic, and we are in for a treat here today and for the next 10 races for the race throughout the chase for season number 5. I'm not alone for this one. I'm joined by someone that will ironically be in the booth with me for half of these chase races, and it's the team owner of Live Fast Motorsports who barely missed out on the chases, Elijah Leonard.
I'm back. How we doing?
So, Elijah, this is the kickoff to the Season 5 chase. The points have been reset. Obviously, some drivers have an advantage over some others, but this is where we have the 12 best drivers this season. A lot of stories between these 12 drivers, and this is where you have to put the money where the mouth is, where put the ratings is in this scenario, and you really want the best in the car, and you want the best results as possible. What are these drivers going to do here, not only today, but throughout this crazy 10-race stretch to end the season?
Well, I'd say at this point, at this juncture of the season for these 12 drivers, they've worked their way up to this point. It is time, again, to put your money where your mouth is and definitely showcase what you're able to do for these for this chase. I mean, of course, we've got these 12 guys; they're ready to go. But what should these drivers do, though? I think, if anything, these drivers should definitely flip a switch. And I don't even know. My brain is just blanking out. I do apologize, guys, because my brain is just completely switched off. It's not working because of just, I guess, the lack of sleep that I have and the lack amount of caffeine. But that's why my brain's not working. But nonetheless, sorry about that. But yeah, these drivers are definitely going to have to flip a switch. That they're going to have to really start performing. Definitely put their money where the ratings are, and just give them hell. I think that's really all you can do, is just try to race your way up to the front. Try to lead as many laps as you can. Try to get as many points as you possibly can, in order to have a shot at the championship once we get to the finale.
And without a doubt, exactly what he just said right there. And really, the first 6 races of the chase is pretty normal for retrospect. There's only one new track left on the schedule, and that's Gateway here in a couple of weeks. But the final 4 races: Daytona, Watkins Glen, Martinsville, and then Atlanta for the season finale at the old Atlanta. So the finale is a normal racetrack, but yeah, Daytona, Watkins Glen, and Martinsville. Those 3 can easily shake up the points going into the finale, and honestly, if any one of these 12 chases you want to build up as big of a lead as possible in the first 6 races before we get to Daytona, Martinsville, and Watkins Glen, so you don't lose as much as you could otherwise. But first, we have to get through Indianapolis here today, one of the best racetracks on the schedule. Unpredictable, and it's going to be a fun one here today on 4th of July. Let's go over the chase reset real quick. Joe Wachowski, the man of the season, has 3 wins to his name, the most out of anybody. Won the regular season championship easily, and he's going to enter the chase with a 9-point advantage over Ace Garcia in 2nd. Logan Williams is in 3rd, 13 points behind. Brianna Beal is in 4th, 14 points behind. Alexander Vitale is in 5th, 17 points behind. The defending champion Dale Campbell, Mr. Consistent last season and this season, is going to be in 6th, minus 18 to kick off the Season 5 chase. Trey Barlow is in 7th, minus 19, same with Noel Clifton. Josh Ramson minus 21 is going to be in ninth. And then the last driver that made it on points, barely by 1 point, Matthew Bennett, is going to start out the chase in minus 23. And then Eli Boy, who barely made it by 3 points, I believe, as wildcard number 1. He's going to be 24 points behind it. And then this is one of the stories that we are going to have to keep an eye out for, especially with this 54 team starting in third. Nick Lopez won at Darlington and Talladega, had to scratch and claw their way inside the top 20 points. And then after Pocono, after a day, barely stayed inside the top 20, finished 20th in the regular season, and that was good enough. But this 54 team has hit a right switch in the second half of the regular season, and have to see what that 54 of Nick Lopez can do here today. And on the pole, in the Patriot number 8, here on 4th of July weekend is Aaron Abel, and alongside him is our most recent one at Pocono, Matthew Hubert in the number 23. Well, number 2 is 2 chases of Nick Lopez and Trey Bell, 2 rookies as well. Well, number 3 is Juan Kennington and Noah Clifton. Well, number 4 is Bradley Ream and Kyler Sustra, and running out the top 10 is the second OCL caller of Eric Marco and the number 14 of Ryan Dewani. And throughout the chase, you will be able to easily pick out these 12 chase drivers, as they have a orange banner and a orange tiny splitter in the back of the car. And make sure that everyone is rolling off, and looks like that is the case. A lot of chases you'll see in the starting grid alongside the screen, starting in the middle or towards the back, and that's going to be interesting all day long. 2.5 miles here at the Brickyard, 40 laps, 2 pit stops here today. It is time to go chase racing. And Elijah, who do you think will kick off the chase right here today?
Oh boy! See, there's always a probability of there being a chase driver going to victory lane to kick things off right, but there's also a possibility of a non-chaser that could throw a monkey wrench into things. But I'm gonna definitely go on the safe side. Maybe say a chase driver. Maybe pull for Nick Lopez. He could definitely go to victory lane from that third starting position.
Not a bad pick whatsoever from Nick Lopez to the number 54. He would try to get number 3 on the season today if that is the case for him. And have to see if that is the case, and have to wait and see on who can show out as a championship threat here in the season 5 chase. If it was based off of the regular season, Joe Lukowski definitely looks like the man to beat. But we've seen it last year. Once we got to the chase, it was like a whole new ball game. It was like a whole new season, and things got a little bit wild. And have to see if that happens once again for season number 5. Off of turn number 4 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we are back once again, and we are back for the season 5 chase kickoff. It will be Aaron Abel and last week and 2 weeks ago winner of Matthew Hubert on the front row. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go racing. It's time to go chase racing for season number 5. The Discord 400 is green, and we are racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh, that was really close there.
What a crazy first lap, and this really you want to make little passes early on. It's not impossible, but it's definitely a little bit harder with this being a flat track. That's almost a disaster right there for 2 Toyotas of Kennington and Hubert. And right now, how about this Aaron Abel, who honestly could have been one of the drivers that made the chase, but didn't. Trey Bell to the inside, almost to the inside. He's actually going to get there, Bell. Winless so far this season, but he made the chase, and who knows, he could be one of the favorites in this chase. Chases are 2 and 3 with Lopez and Butler, but look at these top 2 starting to pull away from the field.
That is all because the 19 and the 23's contact coming out of the corner. That's what allowed the top 3 to kind of start to break off and check out. But as you can see, everybody's kind of just, they've calmed down. Everybody's side by side. We see the number 4, that's Brandon Beal, trying to get a position on Matthew Hubert. Looks like he's going to do just that here early in the going. So I'd say for these drivers, especially at this juncture of this race, of course, try to get as many spots as you can. But then once you do that, get yourself into a green flag rhythm. Just kind of chill and ride until we get to the first round of green flag stops. But you see this number 41 of Trey Bartow. He wants that lead, and he's going to get it just like that.
Stu Haas looking very strong here today. They've been one of the stronger teams this season for Stu Haas Racing and Bernardo Diovera. 2 of the 4 cars made the chase, and Juan Dwayne, who has some strong runs throughout the season, is also running inside the top 10, so 3 out of 4 inside the top 10. Barlow out front in the number 41, and have to wait and see of how everything works out, because definitely some of these drivers, like Barlow, who's 7
Oh, yellow's out.
Oh, we got early caution on lap number 3, and unfortunately it's going to be Carlos Sustra, who I believe started inside the top 10. Luckily, only one car involved, and that's going to spice up the strategy game here at Indy early on.
It's also kind of unfortunate at the same time, though, for Sustra. You look at the damage on that 24. I saw a buckle on the hood. I think the rear end was caved in just a little bit, but as long as he's able to keep the car rolling and stay out on the racetrack so he can at least gain some points, then he should be okay.
It looked like a lot of damage for that 24. It's been an up and down season for Hendrick, mostly a down season for Team Hendrick. And now, here's my question to you. We've only done 3 laps. Fuel is about 15 to 17 laps on fuel. Do they pit or do they stay out?
I'd say if the pit window is 15 laps, you definitely want to come in, so that way you can get yourself topped off. That's going to stretch That's definitely going to stretch that pit window out, extend it out a little bit towards the halfway point at least. If you do that, though, I'd say maybe just on the safe side, maybe get 2 tires, maybe no tires if you want that track position, or maybe 4 tires if you definitely want to be that kind of driver. Start a little bit further in the back and just plow through everybody to get back to the front. But I'd say right here, definitely want to top off so that we can extend that pit window out just a little bit. And just that way you can be good to go for the next round of green flag stops, if we go green up to that point.
Well, this is going to be an interesting pit stop here. Everyone is down all 36 cars. And now have to wait and see of what the call is going to be. 2 tires with Barlow. And it's going to be 4 tires, I think. For
4 tires, yeah, for Brandon Beal in that number 4. He's also getting 4 tires.
Oh, I think there might have been some strategy, because Kennington's back up towards the front. The 78 is up front. Hamill's going to be up front. Messi, oh boy, I think we got some tire strategy here. I think some people might have took Fione, some people might have took 2 tires, and some people took 4. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's that track position. Some of these guys really want it, and they got it. Now that question is when the restart comes around, I don't think they're going to be 100% up to speed though, because of how old their tires are. Some of these drivers' tires, keep in mind, some of them that took just fuel only, their tires are not going to have as much grip as somebody else who took 2 tires, or anybody else back there that took 4 tires. So it's going to be interesting how this restart unfolds here once we go back green.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's a little bit of a tire, but it's not too bad. But it's definitely going to affect these drivers that decide to do strategy here. Early caution here at the brickyard. And, well, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first yellow up the chase for the Disc Golf 100, which unfortunately cost us right in the number 24. Well, we tend to see this sometimes here at Indianapolis, but not normally between teammates. Tough one for Hendrick Motorsports. Here in 3 and 4, Messi try peeking a little bit of a nose to the inside of Carlos Sestrai, and Sestrai tried chopping off his teammate in the 48, and for whatever reason Messi was not going to have it, and just turns the 24 into the outside wall on lap 3, lap 4. And this is going to be a big hit for the right side. And a lot of damage for Kyle Sestrai here early on. Been a tough season for them. And it's going to be a tough race for him as well here at the Brickyard. Luckily, only a single car spin. Let's go ahead and look at this full time and get back to the restart and see how the 2 tires versus 4 tires works out here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, if you're Nathan Orman, this is a nightmare come to life. You're going to see here going through turn number 4. Messi gets into the corner way too hard, and it's a combo here because Messi got into the corner way too hard, and it looked like the 24 Sestrai was going to come down to cover the spot, and those two hit, and unfortunately, Sestrai bit the dust there, heading into the turn 4 wall. Luckily, no one else was collected in this mess, but still very unfortunate for Kyler Sestrai. Not the way that Hendrick Motorsports wanted to start out this race, especially with this 24 car.
Yeah, not a doubt. Not a shadow of the doubt. A tough way there, but you know who might have wanted that caution to have a little bit of a reset here early on the lap 3 and 4 is Trey Barlow. But it will be Aaron Abel with some 2 tires strategy. Barlow's going to be the first one on 4 tires, we believe. Abel will be the first one on 2 tires. It's going to be very interesting on what will happen here with 4 tires versus 2 tires. But let's see what happens on the restart for the Discord 400 and for the first restart of the Season 5 chase. Welcome back to the Discord 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. After an early caution with the number 10, we assume, as of now, because we've not seen the replay yet, in the number 24 of Kyle Sestrai, we will go back wing on that number 8 of 40. And we have a lot of mixed strategy. We have some drivers that took 2 tires and some drivers that took 4 tires. And that's going to open up the whole can of worms here for the rest of this one. And especially on when we would see pit stops the second time if this thing stays green. It will be the number 8 of Aaron Abel being the race leader. Second is Brian Buell, while Kennington back up to 3rd. Travis Crampton in 4th. Wyatt Walker in 5th. Nick Lopez in 6th. The Season 4 champion Dale Camel in 7th. Messi in 8th. Trey Bell fell back to 9th after being one of the first drivers that took 4 tires, I believe. And then Eric Marco will round out the top 10 with RCR 1st and 10th here so far.
Yeah, definitely have to give a shout out to Wyatt here, just hanging out in 5th. Yeah, he may not have made the chase, but he's definitely been pretty consistent. I'm also plugging him because all 3 of us, you, me, and him, we're all in a podcast together. So just doing that to give him a little shout out, give him some love.
Yeah, it's been a solid season for Wyatt Walker. 15th in points after Pocono and running inside the top 5. Got to see how this 2 tires versus 4 tires will work out overall at the end. And back wing with a great jump for the top 5. And Nick Lopez is going to spin the tires a little bit. Crampton's going to look to the inside. And Crampton, he was strong at Pocono. Both 2311 cars were really fast at Pocono. And Crampton, a lot like the 54, has been really fast in the second half of the regular season. And from what he told me, his goal at this point is to finish 13th. Easily finish 13th. And right now he's up to 3rd already. A great restart for the number 45. And he might not be done yet.
Ooh.
From 4th to 2nd for Travis Crampton.
2 birds with 1 stone here. May try to go for the race lead here if the 8 can't get back down to cover the spot. Looks like he's going to do just that. But still, that is actually a really fantastic restart there for Travis Crampton. Went from 4th to 2nd. I'd definitely say if he's able to stay up towards the front, we could see him as a potential winner. Trouble for the 42.
One of our chase drivers, and he has a fuel leak right on the restart. Tough break for Eli Bright, one of our 12 chases. But up front is a battle between Crampton and Abel, a couple of non-chases, and look at all the non-chases inside the top 5. And right behind him is 3 chases, but right now it's going to be Abel still out front. Bradley Remus is going to try and pass on the outside lane. That's not really going to work. It sometimes gets the one down on the front stretch off of turn 4. Crampton's going to hang on to 2nd. Kennington in 3rd. Wyatt Walker trying to take that 4th spot away. Fantastic racing here at Indy, and we might have a pass for the Ways lead here into turn 1.
We definitely, I think we're going to get it here coming off of, going in turn 1. Crampton's taking a peek. He wasn't able to get the nose down low, but I think he's definitely going to have it here going into turn number 2. Maybe, nope, not quite. I think he's just going to stay on the back bumper of this 8. He's probably going to try it heading into turn 3, though. I was going to say something about Bradley Ream in that 22. He definitely absolutely bit the dust there going through 3 and 4. He just got put up high and he lost a couple positions. But look at this. Here we go. Crampton's got it.
Crampton has got it, and he's going to have a Toyota teammate behind him. And he has another one just outside the top 5 of Nick Lopez. How about 2311 Racing? They've had speed all season. They've had a lot of bad luck. Hooper got the first one a couple weeks ago at Pocono, but Crampton was possibly the second best car. So in my opinion, 2311 was the fastest 2 cars at Pocono, and Crampton, with some strategy possibly, might be one of the fastest cars here at Indy. A similar-ish track to Pocono is a flat 2.5 mile track. That's about it. Pocono is a triangle, Indy is a rectangle. But Crampton is gone in the number 45, able to try close back in the number 8. And here comes Ream to the inside of Kennington, Lopez to the inside of Wyatt Walker, and Barlow to the inside of Wyatt Walker now. Hamill to the inside of the 3. A lot of chases now, 4 of them in a row, making some moves inside the top 10.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. 4 chasers starting to work their way back inside of the top 10, trying to knock on the door of the top 5. You see Lopez up here, Trey Bartow. Not too surprising that they're both up here because, especially in Bartow's case, he took 4 tires, so he's definitely back up in the mix. He's trying to fight things out, but you got Wyatt just definitely knocking on the door back down to the inside, trying to get back into the top 5, which I'm pretty sure he's at that point. Or no, he's actually getting pretty close, but it's definitely getting pretty jammed up here right behind the 78 because look at this. They're all double file, at least from now, heading back into turn 3.
And look at who's finally making some moves. Is Joe Lukowski, arguably the championship favorite on the restart was 21st. And he's in 16th, so he's getting a little bit. But honestly, his teammate Eli Bright has had a Joplin and high type season and more inconsistent than what that 43 team of Lukowski has been. He is the odds-on favorite, but we've seen it last year in the World Cup Series where a little bit 3 wide, almost right there with Hubert, where Drew Webb was the dominant driver all season, but he had a couple of issues in the chase, and it's not over until Darlington at the end of the season. So Lukowski might be the dominant driver, but he cannot make too many mistakes where he could be in the same scenario as Webb was last year and possibly barely win this championship. Abel was pulling away from Bradley Ream, and these top 2 of Crampton and Abel are pulling away from the field. Chases, non-chases at 1, 2, 3. And then we got a chaser, Nick Lopez, the highest one in the 4th position. And then Marlon Connington runs out the top 5. Wyatt Walker in 6th. Barlow is in 7th. Noah Clifton in 8th. Jordan Sally probably should have been in the chase if not a weird NR moment. And how about Matthew Burnett? Last night in the series, he almost got a 2nd straight Indianapolis Raceway victory. He won there last year, got 2nd in a amazing battle with him as at that short track just a couple of miles to the north, I believe, and trying to get 2 top 10s in a row to start off his chase efforts as one of the 4 drivers in both Cup and Truck chases. And just outside the top 10 is Joe Lukowski.
Yeah, just outside of the top 10 here for this 43, but I don't. As far as Rakowski's case, I mean, hey, he's getting off to a solid start. Maybe not where he wants to be right now. Probably the top guy in the series. Comes in as the I think the championship leader, if I'm looking at this correctly. But you know, I'd say right now he's in a pretty good spot. It's still pretty early in the chase, so maybe a couple positions, maybe just outside of the top 10, a couple finishing positions just outside of the top 10 probably wouldn't hurt too bad. But if you're Joe Rakowski, you're definitely going to be wanting to go for those wins. If you're a chase driver just in general, wins are absolutely going to be very crucial because it's definitely going to boost up the confidence. It's definitely going to, you know, definitely going to give you a lot more momentum heading into the next race and the next one and the next one and the next one until you get down to the championship race. So For Joe Rakowski's case, it's early, but he's definitely. I don't think he's definitely gonna settle in 11th. He's definitely gonna want to try to go for more positions here. What in the world just happened?
I think Bradley Weem got to the inside of Aaron Abel, and they might have made a little bit of contact. You guys will see that in the corner of the screen on lap 15, lap 16. And wow, that was a little bit tight. We almost had a letdown in turn number 1 between Weem and Abel. And that's going to allow Nick Lopez to close back in. Crampton loved what he saw behind his mirror.
Oh, yeah.
As he's going to pull away. But might have to watch out for a second between these two here.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy because we were just I was just talking about Rakowski and just of how important winning is, and then all of a sudden, this 8 car is just all the way up against the wall in turn 1. I'm just like, what in the world? But again, I do agree with that take. Crampton loves what he just saw in that rearview mirror, because that definitely is going to give him a pretty decent gap, at least for the time being. But I wouldn't want to rely on that for much longer, because that 22 is starting to close in. Just about a half a second now between Crampton and Ream.
And oh no, stuff is happening all over the field just as I dealt with split up in the back. Oh my goodness, this happened last year. Once we got to the chase, things got wild. Crampton though loves the way he sees. 23-11, the second straight win. Bradley Weem, Team Penske's not won since the Daytona 500. And that was the 500 only car that won. So none of the full-time drivers, Sam Vitale, Garcia, Juan Garcia, or Weem have won yet this season, as these two are going at it again for a second. No contact quite right there, and oh my goodness, would you believe me that we're not even halfway through this one? We've seen a race full of stuff happen in only 18 laps, and this is what happened last year, and it's happening all over again. Once we get to the chase, things get wild.
And we've only had one caution in this race, which makes this even crazier of how we're seeing this much good racing towards the front of the field. I definitely would guarantee if we go towards the middle of the field, we're going to see just as much as that, but that's going to be amplified here. Look at this. Between Wyatt Walker, the 78, 14, that was Ryan Durrani. He just picked up a spot. Teammate Trey Barta, who is contending for the championship, is going to follow in the tire tracks. And then you also, I think we just saw the 48 also try to get a spot on Wyatt. That's Santi Messi in that 48.
Up and down season for the 48, but having a nice one here at the moment at Indy. Gonna check on some of the chases real quick. Josh Williamson's making some moves a little bit. A lot of chases are just inside the top 20. Williamson is in 18th, Sam Vitale is in 19th, Beal is in 20th. And then just outside the top 20, I think some of these guys, like Hamill, took 2 tires and is starting to fall back. And especially Logan Williams, I think, took 2 tires as well. And I think that might be happening to Aaron Abel, possibly, where those 2 tires might be falling back a little bit. But we are almost halfway through, and we've not pit yet, as I think Lopez took 2nd at the moment, but now he's going to get passed again. Lopez on the outside, and here comes Weem. Kennington, I am not going to jinx him, I hope, but every time he has a good one going, something happens to this 19. Having a great one here today, running inside the top 5 and 3rd. Have to see if he can keep it, but finally a good one for this number 19. And at the line we will be halfway through, and it's going to be interesting. We could see fuel become an issue, because about 15 to 17 laps on fuel, and these guys are not pitted yet. It could be close here in the second half on fuel, but Crampton has almost a 1 second lead halfway through the Discord 400.
I definitely would have to think that that caution period where they were just pacing around, that definitely has extended that pit window out just a little bit more. So I probably would have to expect them to come down maybe this lap or maybe the next lap. We'll just have to wait and see, but they could be extending it out just a little bit further.
And maybe a little bit. It's kind of a unknown, because if it stayed green, it would be lap 15, lap 17. But with that caution, that is obviously going to extend it a little bit, and they could have saved enough fuel, as I thought Crampton was going to come down pit wall as they were running a little bit higher, but No, Crampton is still not paying it. Here's the thing, if they can stretch it to lap 23, 24, they might be able to stretch it all the way. And that might be what they're trying to do, because no one is pinning at me on lap 22. Oh, never mind, the number 10 is in.
Yeah, Donnie Follington coming into pit road. I don't think he's going to risk it. He's just going to come in, try to top off on that fuel, get 4 fresh tires. 24, Kyler Sustry going to do the same thing. He's out of contention for this win, but what have you got to lose, though, by trying to stay out on the track and pick up some points?
And how about Wachowski right before this pit cycle from 21st to inside the top 5? He must be one of the drivers that took 4 fresh tires, did some big time adjustments, and he's going to be in.
Oh my goodness, that is dangerous.
We've seen it before in the birthday bash earlier this year, where they wrecked during pit stops entering pit road. And that same scenario almost happened here, and a lot of drivers are paying on lap 23. It's going to be close if they can make it. It might be a few mileage race if we do not have a caution here.
Some drivers are definitely going to be very lucky if they can stretch it out all the way to the checkered flag, but we're about to find out if they can do it. All of them pitting lap 23, a good chunk of them did stay out, so we're definitely going to expect the 14, the 41, the 23, all of them to come on down pit road this time by, as well as everybody else behind those 3 cars that ended up staying out.
Holy Joe Wachowski. Great pit stop from the 43. He entered very well inside the top 5, and he's going to exit 3rd. Good stop from the number 9 of Matthew Burnett. A good stop for, how about the 34 of John Andrews, the All-Star race winner and the 100th race winner, with a good pit stop right there. And now it's going to be interesting of how everything cycles through, as in is the 14, the 41, and the 23. It's about 16 to 17, maybe 18 laps on fuel. They might be good. It's going to be really, really close. You see Joe Wachowski's teammate Eli Bright still on pit road. I think the fuel leak is one of those mechanical issues where just stuck on pit road and the day is done. So tough break for that 42 team. A Jacqueline High season continues for him. And where is Crampton? There's Crampton entering turn number 1.
And look at that gap that he's got.
Yeah,
behind the 22 and the 43. That is I agree. Massive gap. I second that. That is a very large gap that he's got on Bradley Ream and Joe Rakowski. But Rakowski is definitely, after that pit stop, that's definitely put him in a really good spot to try to see if he can get around the 22 Bradley Ream and then go chase down Travis Crampton for this win. He is definitely going to continue to show. If he's able to get up there to Crampton, he's definitely going to continue to show why he's the top guy this season. But he's got to get by Bradley Ream first.
And this is not going to be an easy pass. This number 22 for Team Penske has shown up with a lot of speed here today. And definitely not going to be an easy pass, as he got a great one off of turn number 4 right there. Crampton had about a 1.2 second lead before pit stops. He's going to cycle out with a 1.1, so only a net loss of a tenth of a second. That's pretty good here at the Brickyard, and Crampton might be in good shape of getting his first win on the season, one race after the regular season ended and barely missed out on the chase. And he said himself he wanted to be the highest non-chaser and finish 13th in points with ease. And one way to do that is to get as many wins as possible as a non-chaser. Ream and Wachowski, though, look at Wachowski. He's shoving that number 22 at Ream, and if these two can maybe try and figure out, hey, if both of us want a shot at this race win, then we need to draft up with this number 45 of Crampton, and they gained 4 or 5 tenths last time by that because of the strategy.
That is a big jump, because even just a couple of laps ago, that gap had to have been at least 1.2, 1.3 seconds, at least just 2 laps ago when pit cycles were just starting to wrap up between these 3 cars alone. That's just amazing of how the draft works.
Golovan Indianapolis is a lot like Pocono, where it is a flat track in the corners, but the draft, especially down these long front stretch and back stretch, really plays into a factor. And if things are not careful for Crampton, I don't think he's just going to run away with this one. He's going to have to fend off Ream and Joe Wachowski here. Burnett is in 4th, so he might get 2 top 5s here to kick off the chase in the truck and Cup Series. Navikas moves out of the way.
Oh boy.
Kennington for that 4th spot. Kennington all the way with a great one here, so he wants a little bit more than a top 5. He wants a 4th place, and maybe he has enough speed that he thinks that he can catch up with these top 3. And then Noah Clifton, John Andrews, and Abel, who was strong early on, still in the top 10. Jordan Stout in 9th. And then Nick Lopez is rounding out the top 10. Juan Dewani in 11th. The second 23-11 car in 12th of Hubert. This team's starting to get some good momentum for both of these drives here late in the season. And then Trey Barlow is going to be in the 13th position. We know the 10 is on a different strategy. I forgot they pitted a lap earlier. But I don't think he's going to make it on fuel. He's not going to make it anyway.
Oh my gosh. Bartow just made contact with his own teammate. Sent both of them up the track. That hurt Fallington more than it did Bartow. Oh my gosh. Bartow is definitely trying to bulldoze his way back into the top 10. What in the world was that? You don't see that here at Indy. You just don't. That was incredibly aggressive. That could have ended miserably for the both of them, but thankfully, they're still going. Bartow was able to get the position, but at what cost? At the expense of his teammate.
Luckily, the 10 is still going, but that could have been catastrophic for not only Shuas, but probably the rest of the field if that were to happen. We still have about 12 laps to go. Chaos is still happening at Indy. Crampton with a 4/10 of a second lead, but once Ream and Wachowski was able to get up to about this gap, 4 to 5/10, they've not been able to really close into this 45 that much. And would this be something for Chad Koss, 23-11 Racing, to end the regular season with the first win on the season, and possibly kicking off the chase with the second win on the season, and at both drivers with a race win? And both at some very unique racetracks at Pocono and Indianapolis, and honestly both cars have been very strong here today. Crampton better than Hubert overall. Hubert started second though, so both cars looking strong. Clifton and Hubert is going to round out the top 5, and we have 3 playoff drivers inside the top 5 now, and at the line it will be 10 laps to go here, and based off of what we've seen all day, 10 laps might as well be 50, because we still have a long way to go in this one.
You might as well rerun the Indianapolis 250, but this time with stock cars, because this 10 laps, I mean, if you're somebody like Travis Crampton, 10 laps is an eternity, especially when you're trying to hold off 2 other cars that are basically just working together to pull up to you, so that way they can try to make it a 3-horse fight for this win.
And Joe Wachowski might be a little bit impatient now. We might be falling off a little bit as this one keeps on rolling down. And I don't know. The big question mark is fuel. But I don't know. We got a Toyota Ford and Chevy 123. And then there's the 24 of Sestry, who's just now at the line. And we are in turn 4. He might play into a factor if we catch up to him in time. But it's going to be interesting, of what ends up happening, if these guys can make it or not. I think it's close. But I think they might be able to make it. Don't quote me on that, but we might.
Oh, we might have ourselves a fight for the lead on our hands.
We must have wait one down the front stretch, and it's not over.
He had a really good run, but he had to check up going through turn 1 because Crampton just slammed the door, and that allowed Crampton to check up just a little bit here. But this is where Bradley Ream might have a chance here going into turn 3.
Ream last time by was better than 3 and 4, and he's going to make a move in turn 3.
There he goes.
Ream to the inside of Crampton, but he's going to try and make that second lane work. It's sometimes able to get a 1 and 3 and 4 better than 1 and 2. Crampton trying this outside lane, but he's gonna have no help. Weem with Wachowski on the inside. And new race leader Bradley Weem for Team Penske will lead with 8 laps to go in the Disc Golf 100. And now these drivers might have to watch out for Joe Wachowski. Wachowski trying to get win number 4, and he very well could, and it's number 43. Oh my goodness, but look at Weem. He's trying to say bye-bye Joe Wachowski, bye-bye Travis Crampton. I'm getting my first win on the season here, and he might just do that. He's pulling away massively in that Team Penske 22.
And if you are in Bradley Ream's position, what do you have to lose? You may not be in the chase, but that doesn't stop you from winning races. So he's definitely going to try to take advantage of this opportunity and try to pull away. But Wachowski has pulled away from Travis Crampton, and he's going to try to close back in on this 22 here, because Wachowski's definitely not done yet. He is another driver that is in the chase. He's pretty much leading the championship to kick off the point championship, and he definitely wants to kick this off with a win. But I think Bradley Ream is going to show that he's going to want it more here in these next 7 laps.
Team Penske has not won a race since the Season 5 Daytona 500 in February. But that's not a full-time driver. That was a Daytona 500 only driver of Wiley's ability to. They've come close a few times. But overall, they've just been a consistent team. Running inside the top 10, top 15 with 2 out of the 3 cars most of the time. Sometimes all 3. And it might be time for the first win since Daytona in the season opener. But if Weem wants this win, he's going to have to hold off Joe Wachowski, who, just like Weem, he has another one down the front stretch. And we might have Wachowski versus Weem here in turn 1. He might not be close enough, though.
Oh boy, this is getting interesting. Especially with fuel possibly looming in the background for these drivers. So if they can stretch it out, that'd be a miracle. But I'd definitely watch that fuel here, especially if you're racing hard for this win. But then again, if you're racing for the win, I don't think you really care. You're just going to give it all that you got until you basically use basically use the last drop in your fuel pickup. But especially if you're Joe Wachowski or Travis Crampton trying to chase back down the 22, or if you are Bradley Ream just trying to pull away, it's going to be interesting.
Weem definitely is really good in turn 4. He gets such a good exit. That's how he took the race lead from Crampton, and he got a massive one all by himself off turn number 4. Crampton's going to try to take second, not quite. And it's Indy, is the Brickyard. No, like, this is almost as big as the Daytona 500. It's one of the biggest well-known racetracks in the world, and every one of these 3 drivers wants to get the race win. And Joe Wachowski once again closing back to the back bumper, not quite close enough. Have to see what Weem can do here in 3 and 4. He's been pretty strong in this end of the racetrack all day long, especially in the second half. But there's a lot of unknown scenarios here. We have a lap car of Sustry that we're about to catch up to in a lap or 2. We have possible fuel questions here. A lot of unknowns. 4 laps to go at the Brickyard. Weem, Wachowski, Crampton in the top 3. And look at this one's nest back inside the top 10. But this racing all over the place here at Indy. And just gonna quickly look and see, no one is pitting yet. Some tough ones for Fitzy, Hernandez, Matthews, Taylor, and some others. But no one has came down pit road yet. Crampton shoving Joe Wachowski with 3.5 laps to go.
Oh my gosh. This is going to be interesting. Bradley Ream looks like he's definitely got himself a good corner exit off of 3. He's definitely going to do it again coming off of 4, but he is definitely showing where his car is absolutely strongest. It's on the corner exits of turns 3 and 4. They're going to deal with Kyler Sustry here, maybe once they hit the back straightaway, maybe a little bit earlier than that, but we're about to find out if Kyler Sustry could play a factor, play a spoiler into who wins this race, really. This is going to be interesting. I don't even know what else to say. I am just locked in. I am excited to see this.
Well, I think we're going to catch up to Sustry in turns 3 and 4. No one came down on pit road last time by. We might get lucky and they might be able to just barely stretch it. They might run out after the checkered flag. 2 laps to go and we might have to deal with the number 24.
Crampton's going for
Oh,
position.
never mind. He's gonna pit and side by side with Crampton, and Witkowski. That's why he was one of the first ones that pitted alongside the number 10, and he cannot make it with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Crampton tried to get second on Joe Rakowski, but he didn't have a good run to pull up alongside. Not this time. He's got it. Back up to second. But I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch the 22 here, unless if they do come down pit road. But look at this. Some drivers can't make it to the finish. This is what I was concerned about. There's a wreck in one. I think I just saw some smoke in one.
There's a wreck in one. No caution though. Stay green. Something happened to, looks like the 17 and the 51, a couple of chase drivers. Here we go. Will they make it? And I don't think they are. They're gonna pit on the lap. Oh my goodness.
No way.
White flag is out. Witkowski and Crampton, they were racing so hard for the win that they cannot make it. The 1 lap short. Ace Garcia, it looks like the number 7 cannot make it. The one Garcia cannot make it. I believe Wyatt Walker cannot make it. A handful, not as many as I thought, but a couple of drivers.
Let's keep an eye on the leader.
Oh my goodness. Can Bradley Ream coast it to the flag? He has a 4-second lead over Noah Clifton in second.
I think if you're gonna try to coast it all the way, just do it, man. You've got a big enough gap. Just definitely do it.
He can coast it off of 4. He's definitely slow with the tire at this point in the 1. But Penske's gonna do it. Penske's gonna win at 2 of the biggest tracks on the schedule. Riley Spurley to 1 all the way back on the Daytona 500, and now Bradley Ream for Team Penske will win the Discord 400 and win at the Brickyard to kick off the Season 5 chase.
How about that? How about that? A full-timer finally won one for Penske.
How about that? It's been a very consistent season for Team Penske, but not consistent enough to get the race win until now. They started the season with a win, and they start the chase with a win, and Bradley Ream wins here at the Brickyard. What a race! And you know, he might have been playing some kind of cat and mouse. He might have been able to save enough fuel, and at the same time get such good ones off of the corners. And Ream gets the race win. Tough wait for a couple of those guys that were not able to make it. Not everyone came down with 1 or 2 laps to go, but unfortunately, Joe Witkowski and Travis Crampton were a couple of those that couldn't make it, and that's going to be interesting, because Witkowski's, instead of finishing 3rd, he's going to get 25th, instead of 2nd, Crampton's going to get 24th. So Witkowski's not going to be too bad with a couple of cars already a lap down with pinning a lap or 2 earlier. Hamlin's going to finish 29th. Ace Garcia 26th. Look, Williams 20th, if he might have had an issue with getting blocked the late. But most of the field were able to make it. And Ream with the win. Jordan Stout out of nowhere in 2nd. Hubert in 3rd. How about that? Back one's out of nowhere now because of all the crazy stuff at the end for Hubert. Clifton in 4th. Nick Lopez in 5th. Andrews in 6th. Bo in 7th. 20. In 8th, Abel in 9th, and Matthew Hubert ends up getting back-to-back top 10s. He got 2nd last night at IRP, and he's going to get 10th here tonight at the big track at the Brickyard. Kennington in 11th, Sam Vitale, Williamson, Monaco, Miles, and Beal, Reyes, Miller, Messi, and Williams top 20, and then there's the rest of the field. Blight, 36th with a fuel leak, and then we saw Justin Zidell blow a camshaft at one point. And then I think something might have happened with William Block and Logan Williams there late. All the fuel strategy. Most of the field were able to make it, but a few couldn't. All the close calls. Oh my goodness, I'm going to say what I said at Pocono. This is why we kick off the chase every year, for at least the past 3 years, at the Brickyard. For this exact reason. It's chaotic. You have to earn the positions, you have to earn the race win, and that's exactly what Bradley Ream did. What a way to kick off the Season 5 chase.
That was honestly a really thrilling. That was a thrilling race all the way around. One caution. I'm surprised we didn't have two, especially towards the tail end of that one. But at the end of the day, we had some really strong cars. Pit strategy definitely did come into play. And Bradley Ream finally napped his first win of the year. How about that? Especially for Team Penske. They've definitely been needing this for a good while. So I'm really happy that they finally were able to go to victory lane, especially at a place that definitely means a lot to them.
Oh yeah, Indy means a lot to Team Penske, and for Penske to finally snap that winner's drought of only 16 races, but they've been consistent all season. Of course, they got one driver in the chase about San Vitale, and gonna be interesting of how the chase will shake up going into Chicagoland next week, putting in the points as we speak. But what a race here at Indy, and definitely delivered here with Team Penske and Bradley Ream getting Penske's second round of the season. And so this is huge. Because of what happened with Joe Lukowski, if he stayed in 30, he would have had a massive 20-point lead. But he is not going to be the point leader anymore. Noah Clifton with his 4th place won. Noah Clifton's going to have a 2-point lead over Lukowski and Botto. San Vitale and Nick Lopez are going to be 6 points behind. Beetle is going to be 7 points behind. Logan Williams and Matthew Burnett is going to be minus 10. Josh Ramson minus 11. And then Ace Garcia minus 12. 10 drivers separated by 12 points going into arguably the most chaotic mile and a half of Chicagoland next week on the schedule. And then unfortunately, because of what happened to Eli Bright and Dale Hamill having rough ones, and Hamill, one of the first drivers that couldn't make it on fuel, and then of course if Bright having a fuel leak. Luckily there's still 9 races to go, but it's going to be a tough charge up to the front again of the standings. Hamill minus 24 and Eli Bright minus 37. Oh man, well what a Indy race here, and going into Chicagoland next week, 10 drivers will be separated by 12 points. What a way to kick off the chase. What's the final thoughts of a crazy Discord forum to kick off the Season 5 chase?
That was honestly some of the best fuel mileage racing, and just the best racing altogether that I've seen for stock cars at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I think this should permanently be the opening chase race for the JBL Cup Series. I mean, like, are you kidding me? We saw fuel mileage at the end of the event that cost 2 of the top guys towards the end of the race. I mean, Crampton led, pretty much dominated the race. Joe Rakowski pretty much was in a good spot to try to either get a good finish or definitely try to win if he could get around Bradley Ream, but pit strategy definitely bit them in the leg. They went way too hard, and they had to come back down pit road and try to top off and get that finish that they needed in order to get the points that they also needed and move on to the next race. But that was honestly some really good action that we've seen in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I think what we just saw here just may set the tone going into Chicagoland. I can't wait.
Oh my goodness, this has been the tone for the Season 5 of the JBL Cup Series. Does not matter if we have a guy in Joe Lukowski who dominates the scene. Every race has been a banger, and there was a Seamus from the lead. Every race has been a banger, and that one was another banger to kick off the chase, and we have 9 races to go, and honestly, I think a lot of them can be just like what we saw here today. Action-packed, fantastic racing, and who knows what we'll have in store next week at Chicagoland, and then 2 weeks from now at Gateway for the first time ever. For Elijah, I'm NS2003. Congratulations to Bronson Minute, Team Penske, and Bradley Ream on getting the race win in a crazy one here at the Brickyard. And we will see you guys next week for both Twats and Cup at Chicagoland Speedway. Bye!
Have a good one.